Hello everyone, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be starting another draft league. So there's going to be quite a few new draft leagues, but this one's going to be from the EDA, the Eon Draft Association, and we are starting Gen 9. So yeah, we're going to be going through our draft for this. So yeah, this is going to be our first Gen 9 draft officially, and hopefully we'll see how this goes. I don't have much time, same as before, but I'm just going to go through them. So because of all the new broken stuff running around, we accidentally let Fluttermane in, which was a big mistake, I think. But you know what? I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna get something that outspeeds Fluttermane, and here we have Dragapult. Dragapult is a top tier Pokemon, first pick Pokemon, like first pick of round 1 normally. But after all the power creep of Gen 9, that might be a bit different, but I'm still really happy with trying out Dragapult. It's a great offensive breaker, it's a great special breaker, it's a great pivot. You can set it with Dragon Dance, it can do sub-Will-O-Wisp packs, etc. Has decent enough coverage, but basically, like, it's really good on the special side, and you probably want to run special most times, but it's just a really good, really fast Pokemon that outspeeds everything. And if you don't need to outspeed everything, you can run Adamant or Modest most times. So yeah, great pick. Second Pokemon, I got Corviknight. So Corviknight is a great steel type to pair with Dragapult to deal with those pesky fairies. And yeah, and also kind of to deal with the ice types, not really. But yeah, this guy can do power trip sets, can do pivot sets, is one of the only reliable defoggers left in the gen because everyone got robbed of defog, and hazards are absolutely everywhere, so yeah, look out for that. Good thing we got Corviknight here. With a phenomenal typing, it's only weak to fire and electric, which Dragapult, while it doesn't want to be in a defensive pivot most of the time, it can, it takes on both fire and electric attacks in a pinch. Can run Nasty Plot. It's not going to run Nasty Plot. It gets Roost, which is phenomenal. Even though it has only 4 PP left, it gets Pressure to whittle down other people's Roosts even better. So the opponents only get 4 recovery moves, which is pretty great. Can do Iron Defense, Body Press, just plenty of options. Really good Pokemon. Look forward to using it. I still haven't drafted a Gen 9 Pokemon because screw you, I wanted a good Dragon Fairy Steel Core, and we got Azumarill. I've been using Azumarill in OU, and it's been, while it's really early in the gen, it deals with so many of the new threats so well, and I just really loved using it, so I want to use it in Draft League. Azumarill is really versatile with being able to run huge power, to run banded sets or belly drum sets. It's also support moves like Encore and stuff. It did lose Whirlpool, which does mean it can't really do Whirlpool Perish Trap anymore, but it does still have a lot of options. It's probably just going to be a physical breaker though, because it destroys those dark types that want to take on Dragapult. Can also take on those ice type attacks pretty damn well, and you know, offensive fairy is really good to pair with my especially offensive Dragapult and my defensive Corviknight. So really great trio of Pokemons to start off with. I did lose Knockoff. I don't have Knockoff, but I do get Ice Spinner, which is a great coverage move, and I believe we also get Trailblaze. Where's Trailblaze? Trailblaze is down here. It's base 50 grass type attack that increases our speed, so that might be something we can use as well. Alright, next up we got our first Gen 9 Pokemon in Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien is our tier 3, so I forgot to say this is a tiered draft with a fixed quota of tiers, so no points. So I got 1 tier 1 in Dragapult, 2 tier 2s in Corviknight and Azumarill. My first tier 3 is Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien is a really good answer to ghost types. I just kind of looked at what Dragapult was weak to and went from there, and Wo-Chien really does eat up those ghost type attacks really well, except for maybe from a Fluttermane, but nothing takes a Fluttermane well. So might as well forfeit that victory on its own. Well, we'll see. This guy gets Knockoff, which is a really valuable asset in this generation. Gets grass coverage, gets foul play if it wants to hit on the physical side, gets body press. You probably don't need body press, but it can run Leech Seed, Substitute, Protect, Stall, stuff like that. But yeah, basically it's a pretty decent grass type. I look forward to using it. Has a lot of options. It's more of a bulky Pokemon, as you can see, and Tablets of Ruin lowers the attack of all opponents by 25%, so it's actually more defensively bulky than it looks. It's actually really, really reliable, and should be able to run a Sub-Leech Seed set really reliably. Against other grass types, it might have a bit of a problem, but Dragapult takes on those kind of well, and we'll see what else we have in store. Oh, we do get Pollen Puff, so actually not that bad. Gets Tickle. I don't want to know how it tickles. Alright, next up we have Sandy Shocks. Sandy Shocks is another Gen 9 Pokemon that we're going to be using. I really wanted something with hazards, and this guy gets Stealth Rocks and Spikes and Volt Switch to get out of there. Another pivot option is really good. Basically, it's an interesting stab combo. It's only been on Stunfisk before, but Stunfisk has used it pretty well. This guy is just going to be a pretty decent pivot. 101 speed is phenomenal to outspeed base 100s. Can be bulky as well if it wants. I don't know if we're going to try and activate Photosynthesis often, but it can. I'm going to mostly treat it as if it doesn't have an ability. But yeah, overall it's a pretty decent one. Gets Power Gem too. Yeah, it's not a bad Pokemon. Next up we got Venomoth. Venomoth is not a tier 3, it was a tier 4, which I thought was a bit doing it injustice, so I decided to take it on. Venomoth gets Tinted Lens Bug Buzzes, which is really good, has 0 resists basically. And basically it will just Sleep Powder, it will U-turn, it can Toxic Spikes, and of course it will Quiver Dance. And just set up in your face, spam Bug Buzz, and deal chunks and chunks of damage to your entire team. So hopefully that will be a very fun thing to try and do. Toxic Spikes are pretty good in this gen, especially because there are just so many new Pokemon that get Toxic Spikes. So yeah. Next up is our actual third tier 3 and our last one, Espathra. Espathra is really strong. 101 special attack isn't much, and 105 speed isn't much, but it boosts its speed with Speed Boost, and it doesn't boost its special attack, but it cripples the opponent's special defense with the amazing Lumina Crash, which lowers the special defense of the opponent by 2 stages every time it lands. Absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, this is also going to be my Terra Captain. So we have to choose one Pokemon that can Terra into anything for the entire league, and it can be anything, and we can change between. But we have to choose one Mon, and it cannot Terra into its own typing. So it has to be a different type, and I decided to go for Espathra because Espathra is a phenomenal Psychic type, deals with a lot of stuff. Basically destroys everything that isn't a Dark type. And Dark types are going to cause a bit of a problem for Espathra, so while I can click U-turn, I do like the idea of having the option to click Fighting Terra Blast or Bug Terra Blast to throw someone off guard. It's just a really good option that's just there, so I thought, why not? I didn't really see anything else that might want it to be Terra Captain, maybe Venomoth, but yeah, I felt like Venomoth didn't really... I could Terra Steel, so yeah, I might change that in the future, but I just thought Espathra was better because it just, like, Terra Fighting just gave a more immediate value. Next up on our tier 4 is Passimian. I also thought this was undervalued. A great fighting type, gets close combat, also gets knockoff, which is, like I said, very rare. Gets Gunshot for fairies, gets Iron Head for fairies, gets Rock Slide for flyings. It has phenomenal coverage. It's just an amazing fighting type, and I really think it will be really fun to use on a Scarf, on a band, or whatnot. Alright, last two are my tier 5s. I really messed up my speed tiers, so I had like nothing above the Espathra between and below Dragapult. So I decided to get something in between, and I got Wug Trio. It looks bad, it probably will be bad, but trust me, it gets Aqua Jet, it gets Foul Play, it gets Liquidation, but it probably will actually want to run Triple Dive, which is its new signature move that does 90 base power and hits 3 times. I doubt they're going to run at Rocky Helmet against me because I don't actually have that many things to abuse with Rocky Helmet. So Triple Dive actually does more and can also break substitutes, so we'll see how we use that. Also gets Final Gambit, which should be pretty fun. Basically, it's a decent revenge killer with Sucker Punch and Aqua Jet. Also gets Memento as a pivot. so it might come to a game or two. Lastly, I wanted a few more hazards because my defoggers, my removals were Corviknight and Venomoth, and I wanted one more just because, in case Corviknight didn't want to remove. And we got Carkol. Carkol is not gonna come to many games. It's gonna sit there on the bench, but it gets Flare Blitz, it gets Stone Edge, it gets Earthquake. No, it doesn't get Earthquake. Okay, it gets Stone Edge, it gets Rock Slide, gets Flare Blitz, but its main thing is it gets Rocks, it gets Spikes, and it gets Rapid Spin. It also gets a Will-O-Wisp, so it can actually take on a few hits, and it can use Body Press with an Eviolite boost. It's actually not that bad. So yeah, that's my team. Hopefully it will do well. I'll let you guys know what happens in the future. See ya.